Hey guys, Ashley Francis here, the holistic psychotherapist, and today I'm going to talk about mantras. That is a big buzzword these days. It's used a lot in pop psychology. You may have heard your therapist use it or encourage you to use a mantra to help with some behavior change or some brain reprogramming to start to believe some of the things that you want to believe so that it can aid in helping you reach your goals. But you may have run into some issues there. So I want to address two of the main issues that I hear a lot of my holistic clients say so that I can provide some clarity around it and maybe help you out. So those 2 points are, one, do I have to believe in the mantra to work? Hear it all the time. And then the second one is, why doesn't it work for me? I'm trying it, I've been doing it, I've been saying it, and nothing seems to be working. And because I don't believe in it, it feels so silly, so why in the world would I keep doing it, right? These are really valid questions. These are really valid concerns. So I don't want you to feel discouraged if you are in agreement with these thoughts, because I want to provide some clarity to make you feel a little bit better and to get you back on track and to possibly reinvigorate your love and use for mantras. So first, let's start by talking about what is a mantra? What the heck is that? So very simply, it is just a word, it could be a sound, could be a phrase that is used over and over and over again. Now, the most common way for a mantra to be used is in the form of a chant, so that when you're saying it over and over again, you actually begin to make a sound. Sometimes it might sound like the person is singing, because the chant is being said over and over again with very little breaks, sometimes just to take a breath, sometimes not. They can be so continuous. So when we talk about mantras, we're really talking about things that are happening in the form of chants. And this right here might be one of the reasons why your mantras are not working so well. So first, let's dive into, do I have to believe in the mantra in order for it to work? And the answer to that is no, absolutely not. You do not have to believe in the mantra to work. However, it is very helpful and more integrating for you to believe in it. So let's talk a little bit about why. Why do I not have to believe in it for it to work? So a little bit about where mantras come from. So mantras are actually thousands of years old. They're used in various religions. They're used in Japanese, Chinese, Christianity. They're used very widespreadly. And that is typically because they've been used in the form of prayer. It's something that we will say over and over again to be able to connect with God or to connect with the divine. So this is something that's been in practice actually even way before the verbal word was even said. Chants and mantras were actually used. They can actually be in the form of thoughts as well. They don't actually have to be something that is verbally expressed. So it's been around for a long time. We are just putting our own new Western flip and spin on it. And I think that that also is one of the reasons why the interpretation and the use of mantras can be misunderstood. So the idea here is that some of the mantras, especially the older mantras, not all of them even have a direct translation. Some of them are even nonsensical. And the reason for this is because it's really more about the sound, the very sound of the chant that you are engaging in. And this is more from the traditional sense, because now the mantras that you've probably been given or you've been practicing are actual words and they actually pertain to you. So stick with me for a second. So the mantras that were used in the olden days didn't have to make sense because it was based on sound. So the whole idea of this kind of goes back to our love of music. We don't have to, we actually don't necessarily verbally or cognitively understand what is it about music that we love so much, other than the fact that it sounds very melodic. We like the way that this piece is laid together. This is very pleasing to us. It's something that we enjoy. That's all we really need to know, right? In order to listen to that song over and over on repeat. And the whole idea here is that when a sound is being made, it gives off a vibration. It's a form of energy. Well, our bodies are also a form of energy as well. Actually, every living thing is energy, and therefore every living thing has a vibration. So when a sound is emitted through music in particular, it's giving off a certain vibration. And when the organism is taking in that vibration from the music, there is this synchronous effect that starts to happen. So the sound is emitting that vibration, and at the same time, the organism is taking in that vibration and it's starting to sync up with one another, so that there is actually a synchronization of the vibration from the sound over to the organism. That's feeling a sense of harmony. You may feel like an alignment. That's where the pleasure comes from, is that your vibrations are actually on the same wavelength with the sound that you are hearing. So the same is argued with a mantra / chant, in that the sound that you are hearing or that you are reverberating is helping the other places inside of your body get into harmony. It creates synchronization with the organs inside of your body. And this is not something that you are even aware of, nor do you even need to be aware of. And there are certain sounds and chants that are designed for specific purposes. And this is vast. There's a lot of this stuff in traditional Chinese medicine, so on and so on. So it gets really complicated. There's a lot of history, and there's actually quite a bit of neurolinguistics that is occurring, which basically means that the sound that is being interpreted by your brain is being interpreted by a language all its own. It doesn't need to be verbal language in order for it to make sense. The brain does not need to have verbal communication in order to make sense of things. So no, we do not need to believe in the mantra for it to make sense. So we're tying this together with your mantra that you've probably been given by a therapist or spiritual leader. It may be something, if it's a Western mantra, then it's likely more therapeutically based. What I recommend is to really get your mantra from a guru. A lot of this is rooted in some transcendental meditation and other types of practices, but the gurus are the spiritual leaders who are trained in this, that have connection to the divine in a way that Westerners typically don't. The second thing is, why don't they work for me? So the idea here is that traditionally mantras and chanting were done for hours at a time, every single day. It's all based on ritual. The ritual itself is the prayer, and it's the chanting that is the practice that is done within the ritual. And that is what's believed to bring about the overall effects. And the reason for this is because when we're engaged in such discipline and such consistency, that is what is leading to brain change or brain forming. So we're conditioning the brain to actually believe or interpret or integrate, to take in what we are chanting. So, of course, nobody has that kind of time, right? We're not going to sit around and do all this chanting and mantra recitation for hours at a time. It's just not like that nowadays. So what I recommend is to actually do your mantra for a minimum of 20 minutes every single day. And the reason for this is because it takes a minimum of about 20 to 25 minutes to get into that theta brainwave state, which basically means it's the brainwave state of lower consciousness where the brain rewiring takes place. Got to get into that brainwave state in order for that to take place. You're most likely to be able to achieve it after about 20 to 25 minutes. Okay, so that will do it for today's discussion on mantras. I hope this was helpful. Please let me know what your experiences are in the comments below. As usual, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel to see more videos like this. And stay tuned for part 2, where I give you some specific instructions on how to practice your own mantra. Take care.